Hello and welcome to Growth Mindset, and this is me, Arsalan. Today we will be seeing simple date functions in the beginning, and later on we will be combining two functions and making it more complex and advanced level functions. In our second example, we will be going through SUMIFS and end of month function, and we will be calculating the sum based on the multiple criteria for each month. And lastly, we will be seeing end of month and V and X Lookup combinations to calculate the last day's data of each month. That is going to be super effective for someone like accountants or the warehouse in charge or the logistic and supply chain team. Those people usually want to have the last day's data and they want the closing balances. If, for instance, if you want the closing bank balances or you want the receivables or payable closing balances, so it is going to be super effective for you. So let's just dive straight into the example and see how all these functions work. In today's examples, we will be going through simple functions in the beginning to see how the simple functions work. And later on, we will see that how these simple functions, when combined with other functions, these become advanced level functions. For day, we can just write day and we select it and we select the date and it is going to give us day. For month, likewise, we type month, we select it from here, we select the date, we close a bracket and it gives us March. That is the third month. Now for the year, we write year, we select year, and we select the date, we close the bracket, and we get the year 2023. And if we want to make the complete date, and we have day, month, and year, so we can use the date function to get the complete date. And first argument is year, second argument is month, and third argument is day. And we close the bracket and again we get 15th March 2023. EOMONTH is end of month. For this date, if we want the last day of the month of March, we will write EOMONTH. We select it from here, we select the date, we select 0 because we want the same month. If it is going to be any other month, then we are going to number it accordingly. We press enter and it gives us the last day of the month of March. For instance, if we want the Feb next year, that is equal to 12 months, so 0 is going to be the first and 11 more makes it 12, so we will write 11 and it gives us 29th Feb 2024. That is how this function works. Today will give us today's date. We don't have to give any argument, we just close the brackets and we press enter. For getting the static date, we press Ctrl and semicolon and it gives us a date as a shortcut. For instance, if we want to have the work day, we will write work and work day select from here and then we select the start date and number of days. For instance, we say 5 days and we close the brackets and press enter. So it is going to give us the work days, that is the date 22nd March. If you see from the calendar over here, first date is Thursday, Friday is 2nd, then 3rd is 20th, 4th is 21st, and 5th is 22nd, and it has excluded the 18th and 19th because these are the weekends and not the work days. Now next, if we want the text of the month, so we can just write text, then we select the value, and if we want months, we start inverted commas, we put 4 times M, close the inverted commas, we close the bracket, we press enter, we get March. If we want to get the shorter form, we will delete one of the M's and we make it triple M and then press enter and it is giving us the shorter form. Same way, if we want the day, we can write text, we select and then we put a comma, start the inverted commas, and we want a day, so we put 4 times D's, close the inverted commas, close the bracket, press enter and it's giving us Wednesday. Whereas if you want a shorter form, again we delete one of the D's and we get the shorter form. Now let's move on to example 2. In example 2, we will be using EOMONTH with SUMIFS function to get the revenue summed up month-wise, and SUMIFS function can work on the multiple criteria as compared to the SUMIFS function. So let's see how this function works. We have Jan, Feb, March and April's data. So we just write the date first of each month. So we have Jan, Feb, March and April of the 2023, and now we will be using SUMIFS formula. This is an unsorted data and we don't need to sort it. We will get our desired results accordingly, that we will check manually also. So we write SUMIFS and we start the brackets. Sum range, we want to sum this column up till here. We fix it by pressing F4. Then we want to give the first criteria range, that is going to be on the basis of date. We again press F4 because we want to fix it, and now we want to give the criteria. So on the basis of the criteria earlier given, we want the dates to be greater than or equal to the date that I'm going to give the criteria of. We start the inverted commas, we put a greater than and equal to sign, close the bracket, then we put an ampersand sign, and then we select that we want greater than or equal to then this date. And now we put a comma, then we are going to give criteria range number 2, also going to be the date, and we fix it. And now the criteria 2, we start the inverted commas, we give the less than and equal to sign, we close inverted commas, put ampersand sign, and now we want the data to be less than or equal to the end of the month of January, that is appearing over here in cell F27. So we will be writing EO month, and this is the month, and we want the ending date of the same month. We close the EO month formula, then we close the SUMIFS formula, and we press enter and we get the result. We copy it and paste it down, and now we can see the totals have matched 417, 417. If you check the data manually, this one is March, this one is March, and this one is March. And we press enter and we get 115. For instance, if we check Jan also, so this one is Jan, this one is Jan, this one is Jan, and this one is Jan. So it is giving equal to, and we have checked it manually also, and you never needed to sort the data, and without sorting the data, all jumbled up data. And this function can be extremely useful if you are dealing with the large data sets and on the basis of the multiple criterias. Now let's move on to the example 3. Here we have a table where we have a commodity price, and this table has date, price, open, high, low, volume and change percentage column. Now I have highlighted all those cells where I need to lift my data from. These are the last date of every month, so we need the closing data of each month and how we can lift this data out of this long data set. See, this is this much long. So how we can do it, but before that I'm going to just shorten the table to make it more easier to understand. I've placed the filter on this table. You select this and you go in the home tab, then go in the sort and filter and press filter, and then you get the filters. Like I already have the filters over here, and I select the filter by color. I select the yellow color and it has given me a shortened version of the table. Now I want to pick up all of these figures using the V Lookup and X Lookup functions and how it works. So we write V Lookup and we want the end of each month's date, so we will use end of month, and this is the start date, and the month we want is same, and we close the date. But before that we want to make sure that this column remains fixed. No matter how, in whatever cells we move, the column needs to be fixed. So for that we will be placing a $sign before B, so it makes the column fixed. Now our EO month formula is complete. Now we have to select the table array from where we want to lift the data. This is the table array. We select the whole table and we fix it by pressing F4, and now we put a comma. So the date is the first column and we want to pick the price, so we are going to write 2 as column index number, and we want a exact match. Either we can write false or we can put a 0. We close the bracket and we press enter. Now we copy it now, but it is giving 75.21 in each and every cell. Why is that so? Because of the fact that I have given the column index number over here as 2, but here it should be 3, because this is the first column, the base data, then this is the second, and open is the third. So either I can change it manually and write 3 over here, but there's another way to do it. We can just make sure that we write 2, we make it 3, and then we just copy and paste it over here. And instead of writing 2 manually over here, we can just go here and select it and make the column index linked from the cell C296. So now we copy it and we can see that for open it's giving 76.6, high 77.8, so it is giving the same data. Now we can just copy it and paste it down, and we don't get our desired results. Yeah. Well, we haven't fixed row as well. In fixing the column, we had to be on the left side of the alphabet of the cell reference, but for fixing the row, we need to be on the right side. So we put a $sign on the right side of the cell reference alphabet, and we press enter and we copy it, and then we copy it down, Control Shift and down, and we get a desired result. So let's see any one month and we see that whether it has lifted the data accordingly or not. So for the month of May, we have 114.67, we have 114.67, 114.96, same 119.98, 114.15. So we can see that all the data is same. For making it percentage, you can select the data by pressing Control Shift down arrow key. You go in the Home tab, you can select the percentage, increase the decimals, so you have the same data as before. Now let's see that how the X Lookup function works. We write X Lookup, we select lookup from here, and we want again end of month formula, and for this date and for the same month we write 0, we close it. But again, we want to make sure that the column remains fixed, so we will put a $sign. Either you can put a $sign straight away from the keyboard, or you can press F4 once, twice, and thrice. So it gives you $sign before the alphabet of the cell reference. So we have fixed this, and now we will be looking up in the table the lookup array, and the lookup array is going to be the date column, and we press F4 and we fix it. Now we want return array. Return array is this. For the return array, we want the rows to be fixed, so we will be pressing F4 once and F4 twice. Now the $sign is on the right side of the cell reference alphabet, and here we have the rows fixed. And the match mode, if we want an exact match, we will write 0 and we close the bracket and we press enter, and we don't have to write what we wrote over here as column index. We have given the formula in one cell, we can just copy it and paste it down over here. And again, for changing the percentages, we can go over here in the Home tab, percentage sign, increase the decimals, and now we can see that all the data has been fetched very easily using the X Lookup function. So we can see once again any single date that it is giving us the same data, and it has worked perfectly fine for us. Well, that's it. If you have liked the content, make sure that you show your love and appreciation through liking and subscribing the channel, and your comments down below are going to act as a navigation tool for this channel, so make sure that you give your comments. And that's all for today. Take care. Bye bye.